So, congratulations on finishing the first book. It does take about a month, and it's quite a long journey there. It feels like, because you're going to most basic things that usually professional pianists not even thinking about at this point, and then it kind of feels like, why am I doing this? But then the more you progress with the book 2, book 3, book 4, the more you realize that without these fundamentals of piano technique, you cannot move on to any more advanced musical means of expression that helps you to play very expressive and play technically free. So now we're going to be much faster, and you're going to harvest the product of your work much sooner, and it's going to feel actually much more satisfying. So I myself also very excited, because for me it's also such a drug, the first book, but thank God. And you've done a really great job. I'm very, very happy with the results. What was your feedback during that month?
Well, in the result, I replayed the video, and yes, I can feel when I play without imagination. I just make my mind blank and focus only on the movements, and don't even think about the piano like a musical instrument. And this is a good point, I think. Just think about it like a thing that can provide sounds, and so just on this base foundation for the whole system, we go through thinking of simple movements, and we go through both directions, from the movements and from the imagery. And we do complete the whole approach. And maybe in conventional teaching, we have only one way from musical side.
From technical side sometimes.
Or from technical, yes. Or from technical, you told to raise your fingers higher, make the wrist movements, and so on. Or you are told only to think about music and express, but you don't know how to connect this with these movements. So you suggest this holistic approach from both sides, and this is very cool. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Well done. Let's start the first topic of the book 2, harmony. Very beautiful, easy to make, great tool to bring more expressivity to your tone and touch and timing. So, what can you tell me? So obviously, why do we need harmony? I just mentioned. So the next question, yeah. So the next question actually, how exactly does it improve our tone and touch?
Harmony affects on two sides of our technique, of our mind side of technique. The first side is sound imagination. Sound imagination changes its quality by reflecting the mood of the harmony. And that provides different sound because of different touch. Because sound imagination creates this subtle sensation in the tip of the fingers. And this is the first side.
Just to correct here, not exactly the mood, because the mood doesn't really change anything in the color or texture of the sound that you imagine. It's mostly like a color, and we will talk about how to find the correct description and about harmony that would reflect this sound imagination in a minute. So whether it's darker or brighter or softer, this will change. This will affect fingertips by giving different impulses, very subtle impulses. Okay, and second?
And second is the intonation. Intonation reflects. If we're talking about sound imagination, we talk about each note. If I may simplify this, we go each note at a time, and when we think about the intonation, we talk about this movement between the notes. And intonation is, as we studied in the first book, is the going through this space between notes with the resistance, the support. And this resistance provides these vibrations. And basically these vibrations are I want to say that with harmony we can change the character of these vibrations, so we can sense them as more frequent vibration or more less frequent or less frequent.
I would even add here, to be more specific, where the quality of our sound imagination, the different texture, the different color, affects those vibrations when we sing between the notes in intonation.
Yes.
So, for example, if I imagine Do Mi in the color of C major, and I sing, or A minor. So that will also end because, so you feel the change. And so because we know from the previous book that intonation, the vibrations of intonation control how we feel this next note in the palm of our hand. Whether we intonate C major or A minor, we will feel different here. And so that will lead to very, very, very subtle, it's almost like you can't even calculate them on the measure tape, changes of kind of rubato, tempo deviation. And so you would, if you play C, E in A minor, you would maybe approach E with a little bit slower timing. Still in the beat, but this is what I'm talking about. This is where expressiveness is coming from the touch. And maybe you would play that E a bit softer as a result as well. So you play that E a bit softer, you approach it a little bit slower, and here it comes, A minor. And both you and the audience can feel that. C major. I play E minor. Anyway,
yeah.
Well done. So this is harmony affects our playing through sound imagination and through singing. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Yes, but just to confirm that the things that we can use to express is only the energy and the time. Energy is the actual force with which we move the keys of the piano
Approach
down.
the key, yes.
Approach the keys, yes, and the time is when it will happen.
That's pretty much the only two things we can use to affect our playing. Well
But yes, we have pedal, we have...
yeah, but if we're
this-
going behind the scenes, behind the material.
Yes, this is
so
it's
cool.
like a fundamental two things.
All right. So now let's talk about how to find harmonies in the score. So what do we do?
Well, I want to say that you suggest the approach not to think much about music theory as much as I can get from it. So we focus on the phonism of the chord, so this созвучие in Russian. And yes, I have a couple of questions about it, but yes, firstly, I just say how the method, the algorithm. So we have, for example, the sequence of notes, the breaking chord, not the block of the chord, but the notes that can be built in one chord. And we wrap it in this one block chord and play it on the pedal, hear it, and maybe just try to describe it with words. And yes, here it comes to, for me, here it comes to some extra vocabulary in English. But yes, it's another part of my work. And the tip for this, to feel this harmony more prominently, compare with the second block of the same with the same method that is built with this current chord.
Because sometimes we can stuck. I feel it like bananas in our ears.
Yes, it's
and
very
you just
difficult.
stuck there, and the best way is just to compare. Compare, just move on, just compare to another harmony. So don't get too obsessed about it. Alright, so in the book, because it's a very vague thing to say, describe the harmony, so in the book I provide a
the template.
amateur kit.
Yes.
A kit for beginners. The words that you can look at and just ask your questions. Is it warm or cold? Is it soft or bright and shiny? Happy, joyful or sad, melancholic? Uplifting, dramatic, tragic? Light, clear, dark, cloudy, heavy? Consonant, open, calm, peaceful? Dissonant, tense, painful, edgy? Full, rich, earthy? Ethereal, celestial, dreamy? So you just ask yourself these questions, and as long as you got maybe 2 words that would describe your harmony, you move on. All right?
Yes, this set of good set of hashtags.
Hashtag on the harmony, yeah, exactly.
Yes, I have this template in front of me, and it's very good.
So we're gonna talk about in a moment how to imagine the harmony, but first let's go ahead and test our abilities to find and describe the harmony. Alright, so I suggest to start with Mozart sonatas, and then this is kind of work you can actually do all the time. You can start with Mozart and move on to Chopin or even Rachmaninoff, or go to Stravinsky if you want, or Ravel or Debussy. There's a very strange harmonies there. But the more you're listening, the easier it will be to find the harmony. So at the end of the day, we want to spend, even if we learn, let's say, a Chopin Nocturne, let's say we have 3 to 5 pages piece, and just going through that harmony and describe them and imagine them wouldn't take more than an hour for you, okay? So let's open the first sonata by Mozart.
All right, C major. In first part. Yes.
Okay, so what do you do here? You get all the notes together.
What is the main landmark or the main cue on which we look to determine that this is the borders of the harmony that we choose. So it may be the harmony with the root note in the harmony.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You can actually, exactly, you can just take it and play everywhere. Go into 4-note position, play with both hands. Sometimes it's actually interesting also to add here. For me, I can sense the harmony color better if I play it soft. So you don't have to bang the piano. You know, you can just like touch. And the thing that the sound doesn't overpower, it works like a portal for me. So actually I can go through it and actually find my description. So this would be definitely light. I can feel light. Let's go there. Light and clear. Okay.
All right. Okay. Light and clear. Next chord. Okay.
So this is a very good example. So you leave out the passing notes, that's C for example. So I mean you can, as long as it does not create an ugly sound. I think this could leave and could create something very beautiful. For me, I would say it's bright and shiny. And then come back.
Okay, let me try. For me, it's like joyful. But the inspiring joy, not just the hooray joy, but like inspiration. The question, what I would do today. Today is a good day.
So it's light as well, joyful and light, I would say.
Oh yeah, so in the template we can use this combination of hashtags. Okay. Calm, soft.
Okay. This is a very good example where you compare two and you see that that subdominant here sounds brighter and tonic sounds calmer. Even though they both belong to the family of joy and light and bright.
Okay. Well, yes, we can have these two chords, just the playing and then.
Right, so it could be this.
I have bananas in my ears, so let's compare. It's dominant, but for me it's like...
For me too, I know exactly where you're going. Yes, it's actually calmer and more like a full and more earthy.
Yeah.
Like almost like the moral of the story, you know?
Yeah. But there's a little dissonant sound. A little edgy, no?
it brings more light and brightness, yeah, and more. tense, you could say. Like
Tense. Mm-hmm. It's warm, it's gentle.
I love this. And exactly, like if you, for example, you find this gentle, and if you feel, you can just take the pencil, you know, add it to that warm part. Warm, gentle. That you will already start developing your vocabulary on the top of this amateur list.
Oh, now it's gonna be beautiful.
Where are you?
The second line.
Here?
I decided to...
This is a very good example. So, when you have, let's say, a mono, for 3 beats, you don't really know what you're gonna imagine here. So never leave it blank. We have to assign a harmony to that. So it could be either D minor, this one, you can use, you know, that, I don't know how to say in English, but the second degree first inversion of this, whatever. It doesn't really matter, like you said, if you cannot see
6,
what it
5,
is,
6, yes.
6, 5. What is it, how we say it in Russia? Queen sextachord, no?
Queen sextachord.
Queen sextachord, yeah, okay. Very soft, by the way, and calm, right? The next one. Back to C major. The whole bar. Whoa! Mozart is going romantic.
It's like,
Right? So you see how I follow. I basically kind of playing with my intuition which chord would fit here.
I have banana in my ears. Well,
sometimes it helps also just to get the pattern and just play it in different octaves.
Dark, maybe a little dark.
No, it was pretty dramatic D major, no? We definitely it's not light and clear anymore. I would say it's dark and dark and cold. Actually, feels colder.
Yes, dark and cold, and then suddenly tense.
Okay. Oh.
Celestial.
Well, it could be, but there is no D anymore. You kind of keep playing it with D, that bar, but actually I think it's just switching to F, no? So here is D. Ben. It's actually F major, I think.
Like, whoa, this second theme in the 5th prelude, Rachmaninoff.
Exactly.
This.
Yeah, there's a little bit of heroic in it.
Heroic, yes.
Yeah, so what would happen here?
Yes.
Keep it all to F. It's a pass note here. Passing note. And now here we have a turn. So don't miss D major first. Yeah.
I want to say full, rich, and in comparing to this hopeful, light, clear, and then rich, earthy. And then warmer and bigger. And then again uplifting. And then a little warmer, a little darker, but still uplifting.
I wouldn't say darker here. I would say just calmer, maybe.
Calmer.
And softer.
Calmer.
Calm and soft rather than dark.
Well, yes, this work requires developing awareness of your emotional states, emotional intellect.
Sound emotion.
Sound
Creating a new
emotional
word here, sound emotional intellect, yeah. But you know what? I actually developed drastically in myself this ability to actually hear harmonies in the music that I'm listening. Definitely very easy distinction between more open and more tense harmony, which I was not aware before in my life. So that's affected.
So you mean hear those colors, yes? No, we don't speak about this queen sextachord, this переходит там туда-то. Yes, we're talking about this.
We're talking about the essence, exactly. Yeah. So when I listen to even symphony, I can hear each harmony.
It's very inspiring. Inspires me.
Yeah, it definitely enriches your experience with listening to music. All right, so what would, for example, happen in the next bar here? So, again, it cannot be just notes. Let's see to which harmony that belongs.
So, we need to think over it, yes, to create. It's like it's dominant.
I definitely feel that the first half of the bar is more tense and edgy than the second. Then he resolving to G.
Yes, I still try to think in terms of music theory, but I feel that you try to bring it to more direct sensation of what sound, yes? What is sounding. So it doesn't require us to play this whole triad thing or what thing about dominant or not dominant. We play these two notes and compare with next two notes. And yes, and I right away feel the difference. The tense, more
tense and edgy.
edgy, and now softer, and light. Light in a sense without weight.
Nice.
Not in the sense.
Light and clear. Nice.
Clear.
This for me sounds kind of nostalgic, almost a bit sad. Almost like a dream. Wow, there are a lot of things happening there. Wait.
Yeah. It's interesting because is it normal when we have so much to happen in this short period
For
of
the
time?
Mozart, yes. In one line, he managed to describe the whole ballad of life.
So at least 3 colors. Wow.
I know.
Okay, let's try to describe it. Nostalgic, you say, okay, then, oh, this is melancholic and but joyful. It's the two things together. And is it normal to say melancholic and joyful?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called light melancholy. Yeah.
Light melancholic. In compared to light melancholic, this more confident harmony.
For me, it feels more calm and earthy.
Earthy.
More stable. More grounded.
Stable. Grounded. And interestingly, wow, it's interesting because in comparing with, we have the same harmonies, but the first comes after that we determine as light sadness, light melancholic. After this nostalgia, this light sadness, this ground, and after the ground, the same chord doesn't seem like light nostalgia. It's more like cold chord for me. And then just 2 notes, soft 2 notes, soft and warmer.
I would say the third beat is more tense and the fourth beat is more open.
Yeah. This a little edgy.
Yeah, well, just now imagine that someone who didn't do that work in that second bar, he didn't understand, he didn't imagine, he didn't
experience all this.
Experience all of this. His playing will be very mechanical, you know? And someone who understands, it will create those subtle changes in touch and tempo and energy, and we will feel, oh my God, this is so beautiful. So much was said in this second bar, in less than a second of music.
Yes, it's like playing in 4K versus the not even full HD.
I would say 2D versus 3D, yeah. Okay, so this is the work you need to do, and like I said, you can go through all 19 sonatas by Mozart, through all nocturnes by Chopin. You can do this work every day for, let's say, 10 minutes for the next month. The more the better. Alright, so this is how you find and describe your harmonies. And the last step is how to actually imagine harmonies.
First of all, we can play the chord and listen to this on the pedal. While we're listening to this chord, we try to imagine in sound texture the notes that that are contained in this block of chord. Then,
well, the notes that are actually written in the score, right?
yes.
So you keep imagining those notes that are written in the bar with the support of that pillow of the sound that you hold with sustain pedal. Okay. What does that provide? Basically, that helps us while we're imagining notes and sound texture. It's almost like if sound texture is clear water, then that chord that is we're holding with a sustain, that in a natural way, that gives that color. So we take a little bit of, blue color and we drop it in the water. So if I'm imagining that first bar, let's say, what is that? Right? So when I try to imagine a sound texture, but I hear that brings us bright and light and clarity of the sound. And so it's easy for me. That's how you imprint the color, imprint the sense of harmony to your imagination. And that's why that first step is so important. And then when you're able to do that, then yes, you can just remind yourself, and in the silence, you're imagining both hands and sound texture in that harmony sound, harmony color, and you always add sound movement at the end. That's very important. Otherwise, you're gonna lose it. Yeah. So, what did you want to say? What do you want to say?
I just want to say that I still very impressed by this image you describe. The drop of blue in the watery texture is like it's very cool image analogy because it connects to all we already know, this texture of water, initial thing,
base.
And harmony colors this water, and water becomes the color. Now why you insist to not the mood but the color, because color changed the quality of liquid.
And with C major you can feel how it brings shyness and light. If I keep imagining this, it's very, very, very subtle scent and color. Yeah. So that's how you imagine harmony, or that's how you add a drop of color into your sound texture, right? Okay. So sound texture, harmony, and at the end, don't forget to imagine sound movement. All right. So your homework would be harmony practice. Again, follow everything like in your track journey.
Yes.
Sit back and
I
relax.
tried yesterday. It took me almost 2 hours. I have time, and I have time to practice. And I just bring my phone with the instructions, and on the tablet I opened the music score. Okay, what the next
Step.
what the next stop? Okay, we're doing this, then this. Sit back, relax, and keep practice.
I was also thinking it's such a good tool to actually focus your mind on something. So your mind is not wandering, because you know exactly what you're focusing right now on, and you've done that successfully. And then what's the next step? Done that successfully, and what's the next step? And then after an hour or so, you get a very good result. So it's so helpful.
Yes, and it's also a very good stress reducing, because it's yes. You
Yes.
every step you know what to do.
Yeah, you're not confused. Confusion is a of energy.
Atonal music. What do we do with atonal music?
Make sense
Yes.
of that as much as you can.
Make sense of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My students
And yeah,
play-
what was a school, because we don't think in terms of music theory. We think in terms of the sensations, emotional color. That's why we can apply this template. No, the bad word. This
Method.
approach method. Yes, we can apply this approach to any kind of music.
Mhm,
Any kind.
mhm.
Almost any kind. I don't know, maybe John Cage,
I
or
mean,
even John Cage.
as much as your creativity and imagination goes, really. I mean, even if you have a music that is just that, you can do it. The same note, you just color in your mind different way. Yeah.
Well, with the second book, things starting to get more and more.
Engaging and interesting.
It's like a big,
yeah.
big boom.
Yeah, much more creative.
Mhm.
Much.